players were back on board with the circuit here at Pyra. Here's the race leaders. Oh, and there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come.
What a crash!
Let's start with a big trip in the TARDIS, all the way back to 2000. The place, Oregon, USA. It's jet sprinting and superboats in the World Series.
The Tri-Cities area of Washington State was the venue for round 2 of the Superboat division of World Series jet sprinting. The organizers had built a brand new course near the outskirts of the city of Richland, a farming community on the banks of the Columbia River, over 2,000 feet above sea level. Built on the sands of the high desert, the new course will be a challenge for all.
No Australians and no Kiwis have run here, no. The Yanks have run here for the last 6 months. They've probably had 3 or 4 races on here, so they've got a bit of an advantage on us, but it doesn't matter.
So it's going to be big block versus small block today, is it?
With a bit of luck, yeah, we'll get into the finals and give them a run for their money.
Richland is a 5-island sprint course with a sand base. It is particularly wide in the channels, with 2 long straights, which will allow the unlimited superboats plenty of opportunity to use their awesome horsepower. The course, though, will have many traps, being very shallow at the edges.
I would say Pete and Eric and Jeremy might get on the case today. He's the second time he's driven the boat also. There's a couple of Americans going fast there. Mark's going quick, so I think it's going to be maybe Peter and Eric.
Oh, the Spokane track was very tight, a technical track. Really a real driver's track, and I really enjoy that challenge. I mean, this is fun too, but it's more about speed.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this race today. We're hoping to do a lot better than we did in Spokane. This is going to be probably a difficult race for us. It's a horsepower race, and if we have a hardship in this class, it's probably not enough horsepower.
In the Superboat division this year, horsepower has been the king, but the tricky, shallow nature of the Richland course made it difficult for some of the more favored runners to get on the pace. In fact, the shallows at the edges of the course were proving very tricky indeed. With a full field of superboats turning out for the second round, a good qualifying time early on was important. The psychological advantage of putting a time on the board had to be balanced against the need to be cautious at a new and unfamiliar racetrack. The early pace was set by Australia's rising star Leon Smale in his 1,200 horsepower Hydrolink. He quickly had the boat on the pace and was the first man to go under 50 seconds. Round 1 winner Peter Bryant was quick to reply, posting a round 3 time under 48 seconds. But surprising many, it wasn't Bryant who topped the qualifying charts. Say hello to Idaho's Mark Roberts in Marlon, who despite a roll in qualifying round 2, topped the qualifying table.
The boat was running good and everything. We just come into the finish a little bit tight and get hopped and we put it on the bank.
So after 3 rounds of qualifying, the elimination part of the day will start for the top 16. At round 1, American drivers didn't fare so well, but this time 3 of them were in the top 8. The surprise for many was Mark Roberts at the top of the table, while Chris Barnes, the round 1 favorite, and Roberts' countryman Ben Badiola languished at the bottom of the table. Though in this, the first round of elimination, all previous times count for nothing, so it's still anyone's game.
So we're into the final 16 here at Richland, Washington, part of World Series Jet Sprinting, round number 2. This is J.R. Kent from Idaho, 44 years of age, been racing these boats for around about 5 years. 5th in Superboat in 1999, his best result, qualified best with a 49.89, so fast right off the trailer. That was in qualifying round number 3 with a 1966 split. The boat is Marlon, it's owned by Mark Roberts, and of course Mark is the father of Bert Roberts, who went through in the 3rd place last week in round number 1 in the Group A boats. Next to go, it's New Zealand's Reggie Smith. Sitting alongside him is Stu Ennis from Taupo in New Zealand's North Island, right in the centre of the North Island. Best qualifying effort of a 51.34. This is the Macraft 440 road end. So the New Zealanders made it through the complicated elimination process here. They go through 3 qualifying rounds, 2 practice rounds, 3 qualifying rounds. We start with 16, we whittle it down to 8, then it's down to 4, and finally down to 2. This man's been down to 2 quite a few many times. This is Jeremy O'Driscoll, True Blue from Perth in Western Australia. Sitting alongside him, Janice Christensen. This is a Macraft boat designed and built in New Zealand with an Australian engine in it, the Kendrick Dart, 300 pounds and 1,000 horsepower, over 500 cubic inches of this all-aluminium V8. Best qualifying time for Jeremy was a 51.12. This time round, 50.17. Next up, it is pure insanity, and that's what you have to be if you want to climb into one of these boats. This is Dale Barger, sitting alongside him, Doug Lacey. Now, this is the ex-Ryan Rogers boat that won everything in Superboats last year. Dale's bought the boat, lock, stock and barrel. Best qualifying time for him was a 49.13. He went aground in qualifying round number 2, 18.25 in the split. 48.55 is the time he'll be looking to beat here to get through into the 16. Another one of the American contingent, this is Ben Badiola, sitting alongside him, Larry Coretta. This is a shotgun Sprinter hull. Now, it's a little bit different because it's got an aluminium hull, but it has a fiberglass top deck. I think that saves a little bit of weight. The 442 Chevy-powered machine, and Ben's really had his problems in qualifying. He went aground in qualifying round number 3. But he's going a lot quicker in this one round, and I think he's got to be around about the 49-second mark to go any closer, and that's what he'll do, I think. 48.26, so that's a good result for Ben Badiola in the Sheep Whisperer. Next up, it is New Zealand's Kevin Burke. Now, Burke's in a borrowed boat because he crashed heavily in round 1 in Spokane. In qualifying 1, it didn't get any better because he went the wrong way. And in qualifying 2, he rolled the machine. So let's see what he can do here. And just scraped through with a 55. And look at this. He's done it again. Can you believe it? He's gone the wrong way again, so things not going the way for Kevin Burke, and that means he is out. It is sudden death. Hopefully Peter Schuler and Grant Schuler, the Wakatani brothers, can go better. Another of the New Zealand combinations. This is a Mark III Macraft. As we said, these 2 brothers, orchardists in the sunshine capital of New Zealand, Wakatani. Now, this boat originally configured in a Group A spec, but they've got the big Superboat engine in it, 50-10, and that's not going to be good enough to get them any further. Another American combination for you now. This is John Badiola, the younger brother of Ben, just 36 years of age, in Sheep Whisperer. Now, his own boat is American Eagle, but as I said, he's running his brother's boat here. Also owns a construction company. Sitting alongside him is Ray Maxwell, qualified best with a 52.90. Went aground in qualifying round number 3. Have a look at this on the replay. Just picks up a little shelf here. It's very shallow here at the Richland course. Look at that. The boat just leaps out of the water. That probably cost him the best part of a 1/10 of a second, and that means he won't progress through into the top 8. This guy probably will. This is Chris Barnes, an exterminator. Brett Harvey sits alongside him. Barnes is a truck salesman back in Rotorua in New Zealand's North Island. He is the current New Zealand Superboat champion, a Kendrick Dart Macraft combination. May remember he had a heavy crash in round 1 of the World Series in Spokane, and hopefully that won't happen this time round. 49.68. I don't know that that's fast enough to go through. Well, we're into the top 16 elimination here for the Superboats at Richland in Washington State. Next to go, Australia's David Smale. He's from Perth in Western Australia. Now, he's got the handicap. He's got all the power in the world, 1,200 horsepower from the 632 cubic inch big block, but lots of weight as well. And you see there, he just bounces off the shelf, and that's going to cost him valuable time. Best qualifying time of a 58.3 with an 18.29 split. So lots of speed from the Stinger hull for David Smale. Sonia Harvey sits alongside, 49.25 for him. Aaron Moore, the next to go in a borrowed machine. This is the boat of Eric Hoxima. Aaron Moore is an industrial paint specialist from Taupo in New Zealand. Originally one of the founders of World Series Jet Sprinting. Semi-retired now, but in the boat to help Eric out. And look at the way it just bucks and snorts its way through the turns. Picked up the shelf a little bit there, but Moore just kept his foot hard up. But best qualifying of a 49.73. This time round, 48.07. Have a look at it on the replay. How close does he get to losing this machine? He keeps his foot hard on the throttle, and that's what steers it back on course. A wild ride there for Aaron Moore. This is the third of the Schuler brothers from New Zealand. This is Rudy Schuler. We've already seen Peter and Grant in this very boat. Alongside Rudy is Trudy Lowe. This is a Macraft, qualified best with a 49.11, so right on the pace, 18.60 at the split. Let's see what he can do this time round, keeping the boat well and truly off the island. A very shallow course here, already caught out a couple. What can the man from Wakatani do about it? Heading down towards the finish line now. 48.72, probably good enough to get him through into the next elimination, and that is the top 8. Leon Smale, the wild child from Perth in Western Australia. Jason Trask from Idaho, the local lad, sits alongside him. Best qualifying with a 48.72, so he's there or thereabouts to make it through to the next progression. 18.73 at the split. Oh, very wild there, living up to his name in Hydraulic. The 632 cubic inch, 1200 horsepower monster, and he goes through with a 47.95, so a great time there for the Australian. This is Eric Hoxema in his very own boat, Kiwi Express. And Eric looks like he's in a bit of trouble because he slowed dramatically through that turn, so maybe some mechanical problems for the man from Palmerston North on New Zealand's North Island. You see he gets on the gas again there, but then, no, I think he's going to call it a day, so bad luck for Hoxema, but maybe bad luck for Aaron Moore because the boat has stopped, and of course they're sharing the machine. Next to go, America's Mark Roberts from Idaho in Marlin. Shelby Tonkin sits alongside him. Now, Roberts was the fastest qualifier in qualifying round number 3 with a 47.67, but he flipped the boat in round 2, so he's all aggression and all speed as well. A company director from the plastics industry will need to be around about the 48-second mark to make it through into the top 8. Good split time, 18.74, so he's on the pace as he works his way down towards the finish. 48 dead, so he may just get there. Finally, it is New Zealand's Peter Bryan from Gisborne on New Zealand's east coast. Robert Fox, his regular co-driver, sits alongside of him. He qualified his best time was a 48.35, a little bit off the pace for the New Zealand Seafoods boat. Second quickest in qualifying to Mark Roberts, been sprinting for nearly 10 years. To get through, he's looking for a time around about the 48-second mark, 46.03. So Peter Bryan slays them to get through into the top 8. In second place, it's Leon Smale. In third, it'll be Mark Roberts. Fourth, Aaron Moore. In fifth, Ben Badiola from the United States. Sixth, another one of the Yanks. In seventh, Rudy Schuler from New Zealand. And in eighth, J.R. Kent. Well, we started with a full field. We've dropped them down to 16, and now we've dropped them down to 8. Joining me in the hot seat is Rick Moran. Rick, what can we expect here? The Americans have surprised by going pretty quickly.
Yes, Phil, but don't forget, they have had a warm-up run on this course, and a little hometown advantage never hurts.
Well, you're dead right. This guy really was a bit of a surprise. J.R. Kent from Idaho, 44 years of age. Have a look at the split. 18.16, so he's on target to maybe transfer further up into the top 4. Remember, that's the objective, if you like, here. You go from 16 to 8 to 4 to 2. Have a look as he works his way down towards the finish line now. Did a 49.02 to get through into the 16. Let's see what he can do here. Oh, that's going to cost him some time, Rick, as he works his way down to the finish line now. Round about the 48-second mark's probably going to be good enough. Is that going to be good enough? He's got one corner to come. He's got to keep it nice and tidy through there. 49.88. Well, is that going to be good enough to go any further? At the moment, it is. But I'm sure this guy has got designs on going quicker than that. This is Dale Barger, alongside of him, Doug Lacey. This is pure insanity. Remember, this is the ex-Brian Rogers boats that took out the whole enchilada last year, Rick, in the Superboat competition.
You know, Phil, Rogers was absolutely untouchable last season, and using this very boat, he just blew him away.
Now having a look as they work their way to the split times, he's going to be around about the 18-second mark, 17.92, so he's on pace, is Dale Barger. We know the boat can do it. Now can Mr. Barger do it? He went aground in qualifying round number 2. He came back with a 49.13 in 3, 48.55 to get through to the 16. Now we're down to the business end, the top 8. The time to beat is the one previously, 49.88, set by J.R. Kent. Have a look as the seconds tick away. He gets closer and closer to the finish line through the right-hander. He works his way now down the short straight, full throttle for these boats. Have a look at the time, 48.25. He's gone faster than J.R. Kent, and well, the Americans coming to the fore here at round 2 of World Series Jet Sprinting, and yet another American on the journey now, and this is Sheep Whisperer Ben Badiola. It's a shotgun sprinter hull, aluminium hull, remember, as we told you, with a fiberglass deck. So a pretty unusual combination there, Rick, and you've got a story to tell us about the name.
Well, Sheep Whisperer is a pretty unusual name. Apparently, Ben's family came from the Basque region of Spain, and they were sheep herders, hence the name.
Well, 17.77 through the split. That's the fastest we've seen so far. Keep an eye on the clock on the top side of your screen as they work their way down towards the finish line now. Big crowd getting into this here at Richland, part of the World Series Jet Sprinting, round number 2. Badiola coming down toward the finish line now. Want to be around about the 48-second mark again, I would think, down through the final turn. Full throttle from the 800-odd horsepower engine. 47.51. 47.51. That is the first sub-48 we've seen, and we're only into the top 8.
Well, Phil, the times are coming down, but sub-48 for this guy will be a big ask. And this is Rudy Schuler from New Zealand, one of 3 brothers competing here today.
Well, as you said, Rick, Rudy Schuler doing the job for his brothers, Peter and Grant. They couldn't come through, but Schuler can.
Yeah, but to do it, he's got to go under 48 seconds, and he hasn't got a whole lot of horsepower. I doubt he can.
18.30 at the split. He is a little bit off the pace here, probably suffering in the horsepower department. This boat sort of copped together at the very last moment. Remember, he borrowed an engine from Chris Barnes, a fellow New Zealander, to get him into this competition, and Superboat normally runs in a Group A configuration, and that is, of course, with the tight rules, the 406 cubic inch limit, and of course carburetors, not the fuel injection, not the exotic fuels of the Superboats. He works his way down towards the finish line now. Going to be around about the 48-second mark, probably not going to be good enough. 48.70 he goes under the Bannet, and I don't think that's going to be too good for the Kiwi to go through any further. Idaho's Mark Roberts is next. Shelby Tonkin calling the shots as they work their way into the course here at Richland, a sand-based course, and of course the guys here, Rick, they would have made some changes to the boats.
And that's right, Phil. You know, as the day goes on, the water fills up with sand. It becomes sort of like a thick porridge, and the boats sit a lot higher in the water, so they're going to have to tweak the trim tabs a little to shove the nose harder into the water to make those boats turn.
Oh, and Roberts has gone off the course. He's gone the wrong way, and unfortunately that's all it is for the man from Idaho, the Plastics Baron. It's all over for Mark Roberts. He parks it in disgust, I would think, because he has gone the wrong way on the course, and of course that means immediate elimination. Next to go, Australia's Leon Smale, the wild child from Perth in Western Australia. The big block, 633 cubic inches in a Stinger New Zealand built hull. Best time in the 16 of 47.95, so he's certainly got the pedigree to do it.
Well, you know, Phil, all of his runs have been under 50, and the boat really seems to like the shallow water here. Not too many tight turns to catch him out.
Well, 18.01 through the split, just a little bit slower than what we've seen, but certainly good enough, I would think, for the man from Western Australia. 1,200 horsepower on the boat, as we told you, but really has the handicap that the boat is a lot heavier than some of the faster combinations we've yet to see. But I guess, Rick, on the other hand, the boat is a horsepower machine, and that's what you need on this course. So if he can bring it home fast, he's going to be in with a sniff of this. Somewhere around about the 48-second mark, maybe going to be good enough for him as he works his way into the final turn. 18.01 at the split, 47.33, so he's come home like gangbusters.
Run was rough as guts, but don't know how it managed to be that fast, but it was, so it's good.
More to come?
Yeah, if we smoothen it up, it should be around the 46s, maybe, if we're lucky.
Well, New Zealand's Peter Bryant has certainly been in this position before. He's got it all to do in front of him because the times from the previous rounds now mean nothing. He's got to beat something around about the 47.20 mark if he wants to be in with a sniff of this, Rick. Tell you what, I think he can do it.
Well, you know, at round 1, Phil, he was untouchable. That combination of experience, hull design, and horsepower looks pretty unbeatable to me.
Well, a great split time there, 16.78, so he is on target. New Zealand Seafoods, the Stinger Kendrick Dart combination, the fastest boat on the water here at Richland thus far, 46.03 in the top 16. Watch the time ticking away on the top right of your screen. Through the twisty turny bits he goes here on the sand-based course. The changes they've made to the boats have made huge differences because the times have come down in chunks, and we're going to see a sub 47-second run.
Peter, you're the man on fire today.
Oh, well, it's a long way to go yet. Let's not be too presumptuous.
How's the boat?
Boat feels good. Yeah, no, the boat feels fantastic.
Peter Bryant's stunning 46.16 time, that's over a second faster than anybody else, has got to put the man from Gisborne, New Zealand, the favorite to win. Though with 2 American drivers going through to the top 4 and 2 more rounds of elimination still to go, the fat lady's not ready to sing just yet.
We're down to the final four in Superboat in round 2 of World Series Jet Sprinting, coming to you from Richland in Washington State, part of the Tri-Cities, Richland, Pasco and Kennewick, but all the attention now is on pure insanity, and this is Dale Barger.
You know, Phil, Dale's only been driving Superboats for a year. He crashed out in round 1 in Spokane, but he's made it through to the 4 here. It's pretty impressive stuff from a rookie.
Well, once again, Rick, he is quick to the split, 17-14. Now, can he bring it home? His best in the 8 was 48-25, but once again, the times that have gone previously no longer count. Pure insanity. Dale Barger at the controls. Doug Lacey calling the shots as they work their way through the sand-based course, through the shallows, and that's going to cost a 10.
And at this level, that's probably all it's going to take to put him out.
Heading down to the finish line now, the time ticks away. 48.25 was his best in the 8. Are we going to see a sub-48 second run? 47.98. So Dale Barger throws down the gauntlet. Have a look at it on the replay. Gets very caught out there, just takes the shelf once again.
Oh, the shelf on the bottom turn here at Richland has been catching him out all day. It just sticks out from the bottom of the island, making it really shallow.
Well, what a tale this is. Rags to riches for Ben Badiola and Larry Coletta. They qualified only just into the 16, nearly broke the minute. Then they got into their act. They did a 48.26 to get through into the 8. They did a 47.51, so the time was coming down in chunks. They've got to go around about 17 seconds or some to get through and have any chance of this one. Have a look at it, the split, 17.62. So they're on the money at the moment, Rick.
Well, you know, Ben is probably the most aggressive of all the American drivers. He's giving away almost 500 horsepower to the next guy up, Leon Smale. He's just doing it on pure driving.
Just look at the elbows out style there of Ben Badiola. Really muscles the boat around the corners. Just picks up a little bit of the shelf there, costs him a little wee bit of time. And I think it has gone horribly wrong for Mr. Badiola. He has gone off course. Can you believe it? The American dream is shattered.
Phil, Dale Barger's time of 47.98, I don't think it'll be good enough to take him into the final 2. But remember last year, the American driver, Ryan Rogers, won everything. But you're right, it ain't going to be Uncle Sam's day today.
2 to come, and this is Australia's Leon Smale. They call him the wild child, and we saw in the top 16 the reason why. He really just throws the machine around the course here. They've changed the blades on the pump to get a little bit more out of the 632 cubic inch monster that sits just inches behind them.
That's the trouble, Phil. The motor weighs way too much, over 800 pounds, and that's with 1,200 horsepower. Push the throttle too hard, and you're in orbit, you're gone.
Wow, a fantastic split time, 17.97. Wow, that has really stunned the onlookers here at Richland. How can they bring it home quickly? They've got to be around about the 48-second mark. Maybe they've got to be a whole lot quicker than that, Rick. Maybe 48's not going to be good enough.
Under 48 will get him into the 2, Phil, but he'll need under 47 to win it.
Working their way toward the finish line now. Have a look at the clock as they go through. 47.05, and that is the fastest we've seen the Aussie go. But can this man go faster? And it's a big but. New Zealand Seafoods, Peter Bryant, Robin Fox sits alongside him. Well, we know he can go faster. He's done it already, Rick.
Well, you know, in the 8th qualifying round, he did a 46.16. Now, that was a whole second faster than anybody else. In fact, he told me just before this run that he can pull off a sub-45.
Fantastic split time, 16.87, first sub-17 second split we've seen. He slayed them in round 16 with a 46.03. He was a little bit slower to get through to the 8 with 46.16, but he is still the fastest boat on the water. He works his way into the shallow turn. That's been catching them out, Rick. This time it's no mistake for the master, the man from Gisborne, New Zealand Seafoods. Is he on his way to qualify into the top 2? Down the short straight he comes, and under the finish line banner, 45.46. So Peter Bryant does it again. New Zealand Seafoods tops the pole from Aussie Leon Smale. They will face off in the final 2.
Now, at this part of the day when you only get one run to make it count, Leon Smale will have made a choice by now. He'll have gambled on whether to change the boat to find a little bit more time, or maybe just drive harder. My pick, he's already changed the boat.
Well, whatever changes they've made, Rick, must have worked, because Smale has gone quicker and quicker and quicker. But can he match the pace of Peter Bryant? Have a look at the split. It's got to be around about the 17-second mark. Well, it's nearly 18 seconds, so he's a little off the case at the moment. Leon Smale from Perth in Western Australia. Best time so far, a 47.05, and that isn't quick enough to deny Peter Bryant from Gisborne. But once again, the rest of the times now mean nothing.
You got it, Phil. That's what jet sprinting is all about. You've got to keep putting the time on the board.
Well, we get very close to the finish line now. Are we going to see a sub 47, 46, 95, just under the 47-second mark? And the Aussies happy. Have a look at it on the replay. Call us through it, Rick.
Oh, with all that horsepower, Leon has to be smooth. He's done it this time. He's kept it smooth.
But will he be happy after this man has completed his 46 or maybe even a 45-second run? This is Peter Bryant from Gisborne on New Zealand's east coast on the North Island. Been sprinting for nearly 10 years, so all the experience in the world, and a brand new boat and engine combination. It's a Macraft and a Kendrick Dart. The engine gets its origins in Australia, 300 pounds in the weight department, over 1,000 horsepower. And what about the split, Rick Moran? 1695.
Well, that's actually slow for Peter Bryant. He's already done the 1678 at the split, but maybe he can bring it on home quick.
Well, are we going to see the perfect run here for Peter Bryant? Robert Fox doing a fantastic job as the navigator. The Kendrick Dart Macraft combination working its way down towards the end of the straight now. One straight to go. Are we going to see a sub 46? Have a look at the clock. 44.79. Forget sub 46. Sub 45. Peter Bryant, New Zealand Seafoods, wins round number 2 of World Series Jet Sprinting from Australia's Leon Smale.
I didn't think we'd get that much advantage on the other field because there's less traps out there, I guess. You know, you had to be much more on it at Spokane.
And that's a perfect 2 for 2. Peter Bryant with a maximum 60 points. But the point scoring system means Australia's Leon Smale is trailing by only 3 points. 1 round to go, 3 points in it.
Now let's skip forward a year to 2001. It's more jet sprinting action from the home of horsepower, the United States of America. This time, it's the Group A jet sprinting.
The American West Coast state of Washington and the river city of Richland on the Columbia were the venue for the opening rounds of this year's World Series Jet Sprinting. Teams from Australia, New Zealand, and America had all made the journey to this opening round of this exciting sport. This would be the first of 6 rounds of 2 classes of boats, the unlimited Superboats and the hotly contested International Group A. The Group A class produced some of the hottest racing last year. American youngster Jason Maxwell taking wins at Richland and Marsing and finishing consistently well up despite the odd mistake. Jason's consistency was enough to deliver him the World Series Group A crown from New Zealander Brian Smith.
Jason, you were the man to beat last season, World Series. How are you going to be this year?
Oh, I think we have a pretty good chance. Yesterday we were doing some testing and I busted my good set of blades. So now we're trying to go back and figure out what we got going on. But I think we're going to get after it and get her figured out.
To get it underneath that 51.49. For sheer speed, the New Zealander Chris Monroe was the man to beat, taking out 2 wins in the second half of the season.
Towards the end of the season last year, you really did make it look easy. You obviously had quite a margin. Do you think the other guys have caught you up?
Oh, without a doubt. These American guys are going real fast. You know, they're at the end of their season. They raced last weekend, so you know they're on top of their game, and they've raced here before. They've got their setups right. You know, we're battling with that at the moment.
last year's World Series. It was a bit up and down for you. You didn't do the last part of the whole thing, so you suffered in the points, but for the first part you were definitely on the money. Going to be the same?
I hope so. We had good luck over here last year, come second overall in the American side of it. So we've done a little bit more work to the engine now. We've got a few little problems we're sorting out, but yeah, I hope so that we're going to be there.
Last year, Shearer had a first-up win at round 1 and 2/3 before sponsorship problems saw him miss the final 3 rounds. Brian Smith was the almost man of last season, consistently making the final 4 only to fall prey to mistakes and problems.
Was that the story for you last year, that was just the little things that kept going wrong?
Yeah, it was. It was just so near yet so far. You know, I think at the end of the series we were 1 point off third place and 2 points off second place. And as you know, that undo that we had at Manfield coming 7th there really cost us the series. You know, so again, yeah, we're unfinished business, and we're looking forward to a trouble-free run.
Nobody could doubt the speed and ability of the American Dean Lautenschlager, but time and again, he failed to finish. The huge crash he had in round 2 at Richland had put a dent in the boat and his racing budget. Dean, the machine's World Series would be over.
Dean, wasn't a great World Series for you last year. You were definitely the man on a mission, but had a few problems.
Yeah, last year, actually the last couple of years, we just, seems like all through the year we're doing awesome, and then towards the end of the year we just fall apart. I don't know. But this year it's just been the opposite, so everything's coming around here towards the end of the year, so hopefully we got something to give them a run.
The Richland course for the first round is a wide-flowing sand-based 5-island sprint track. The channels are deceptively wide, but the deep water is in the center only. The problem for drivers at Richland is the shallows hiding just below the surface, ready to catch the unwary. Richland shallows were catching many of the drivers off guard during their early morning qualifying runs. Based on last year's form, Peter Shearer was one of the early favorites, but things weren't going well.
Peter, problems continue?
Yeah, we thought we had some battery problems, so we kept chasing around getting batteries, sent someone into town to get one. It's still played up, so I thought I'd pull the rock covers off and found an inlet push rod sitting in the valley.
All morning, the qualifying times were tumbling, and surprising many with her pace was Australian Teresa Parrish. Another to show a lot of speed was New Zealander Andrew Dalzell. As many expected, though, it was the yellow Mack craft of the flying Kiwi Chris Monroe that topped the qualifying charts.
Chris, we're getting down to it. You know, the times are there, and like you're just blowing them all away.
I wouldn't say that. I think these guys are just sort of getting things sorted. They'll be coming back at us in the next couple of runs.
Are you surprised that you've been this quick, straight out of the box?
Oh yeah. We were a bit worried overnight, but you know, we're happy with where we are.
The American charge is being led by Dean Lautenschlager, and in his normal style, he was flat out all morning long, but a little surprised that he couldn't catch Chris Monroe.
Are you surprised how quick Chris is?
Yeah, well, I heard he was awful quick, yeah. I've got quite a few ponies in that, so we'll just give it a go and drive as good as we can. Hopefully we can be there at the end.
Defending Group A champion Jason Maxwell was another driver who was pushing hard in early morning qualifying and tried different setups for the boat and was very confident.
You reckon you'll be able to get near Chris? He's really flying.
Yeah, he is really flying. He's a very consistent driver. I'm going to give him a run.
Where's the time for you?
No, he was running I believe it was a 45, and I ran a second and a half behind him. So, like I said, I think I can take about a second and a half off my last time, but time will tell.
Peter Shearer's problems continued. He borrowed a boat to try and score some points, but instead just scored the beach. Jason Maxwell looked good. He finally seemed to be getting the measure of Chris Monroe, getting within a half a second of him. But in the first round of eliminations, disaster.
Feel the boat lifting a little bit, but in my prior runs I wasn't going quite as fast, and just push it to the limit and let go.
Dean the Machine just kept pushing and pushing like he does, keeping the pressure on. So far it had worked because Jason Maxwell was out, but could he keep it up?
Is there much time left for you out there?
Yeah, I got a little bit left in me. That last run, I can clean it up quite a bit, so that's what I'm hoping for right now.
Is there much more time out in that racetrack with the water level changing?
Well, I've been keeping an eye on it, and it's looking to be, staying fairly steady, but just smoothing up, and there'll be a little bit, not a lot. Yeah, it's just smooth. We've got the foot right up it, and just got to keep it smooth and steady.
So now it's a game of catch me if you can, is it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. We'll just, and they'll come. Yeah, I'm no doubt about that.
Should be a good final.
It will be, yeah. Just hope we're there.
Famous last words. In this, the cruelest of sports, there are no second chances. Do it right the first time, or you just don't do it anymore.
Where's he gone? He's gone the wrong way. He's gone the wrong way.
After 3 rounds of qualifying and 1 round of eliminations, the top 8 boats go through the next round. And topping the list was a very happy Dean Lautenschlager. Without Jason Maxwell, Peter Shearer, and Chris Monroe, it looked to be a 3-way fight at the top between Lautenschlager, Dalzell, and Smith. But with the traps at Richland, it could be anybody's. 3 rounds of qualifying, 1 round of eliminations. We get down to the field of 8 here in Richland, Washington, and we are ready to get underway. Well, the next round of eliminations, we do so with Jim and Glenda Maxwell from Clarkson, Washington. This is a gentleman that is responsible for this track right here. He and Jeremy O'Driscoll helped build this thing a couple of years ago, and I would say right now, probably the dark horse. If anybody had a chance to surprise anybody, this would be the guy. Jim and Glenda Maxwell. Russell.
Yeah, they have. They've emerged from the pack, and this man, a 51-year-old aerial applicator down under. We call them ag pilots or crop dusters. But he's doing a superb job. He's done the big switch. He's changed engines with his son, Jason, and this is the man who's doing the quick running.
And for Jim and Glenda Maxwell, win, lose, or draw, they are always there. Big supporters of sprint boat racing here in America, as well as the land down there. This will be their 3rd time for doing World Series jet sprinting, and they go a 48 and a 76.
Well, coming out now, J.R. Kent and Jess Prather, as they give it away, they kick it away in the DeWalt boat, and this man, he's a big man with a very, very big right foot. Beard. Looks like he should be driving a Mississippi paddle boat, but he is pedaling and giving it in 100%. He's looking to get in the 48s again if he wants to stay in the ballpark.
J.R. Kent on the Kent family farm in Marsing, Idaho, is the first sprint boat in-ground track in America. Not only have they made the World Series on 3 different occasions, but they have brought the sport to America with the first in-ground track. Take a look at the split time here for the DeWalt Power Tools boat with J.R. Kent. 9/100ths of a second faster than what Jim Maxwell was. And keep in mind, this is a super modified boat according to the rules and regulations for the United States Sprint Boat Association. And at the time of 48.51 for J.R. Kent. That's the American. Now let's go into our next boat for the round of eliminations. Oh, jumping off the line, Adrian Kemp from Australia. Buckle yourself in, kids, and here we go. To bring you more to play-by-play, my announcing partner, Mr. New Zealander, Russell Harris. Russell.
Well, Jack, this is the Printer Sprinter from Adelaide in South Australia. Something radical in a boat. It's a shotgun sprinter hull, but in the off-season they've lowered the deck by something like 6 inches. Gives it a radical new look, radical new sound too, because of the crossover exhaust on this 406 Chevrolet. Very experienced man. Adrian Kemp having a very, very good run. 37, 38 seconds gone in the run. He's looking good. Kemp, he's been the one who's emerged out of the pack, maybe the dark horse from down under, and we wait for the final beam. He breaks the beam with a 48.61.
Here's the guys that are probably running on more adrenaline than they are racing fuel. This is their first complete year of sprint boat racing for the United States Sprint Boat Association. This is a super modified boat. They decided to step up and pay the entry fee for World Series Jet Sprinting to give themselves a little bit of experience. And here they are in the field of 8, and they too are even scratching their heads and going, what happened there? Wait until these guys get more seat time and more experience. This is Ty Applegate. Watch the way he runs the course. He's not looking just right at the turn. He's looking 2 to 3 turns ahead, trying to make as good of an impression as possible and maybe pick up even some more sponsors for next year and get to a legitimate Group A boat as well. So for Ty Applegate, about a 1.3 seconds behind the quickest split time so far. Well, their day's going to be over with. Memories they'll remember for a long time.
I don't think I was quite focused enough, last year, and this year I've really put my mind to it. I thought, got to get a little bit serious. As much as it's all fun and everything, but you don't want to come all this way and then stuff up.
Racing boys and their big, powerful boat toys? No. Not for Teresa Parrish. Onboard camber, here we go. The racing team of Teresa Parrish. You gotta like this. All the way from Australia to show the boys that she knows how to do it, and watch how the boat changes color. Is that a gorgeous paint job or what? It is Hollywood Racing, and it's Teresa Parrish able to get into the show with a fast of a 45.56 from her round of 16 at 22, 23, 24 seconds. Russell.
They work their way through the track. Casey Lack, she's had to take time out from school to come stateside to do the series. Last year, we called them the powder puffers. This year, they're the slick chicks. They're the lipstickers. And are they performing? They've been a huge surprise. We go on board with Teresa Parrish. Casey Lack working the course now. We go right, we go left, we go right. Burning up the waterways. The clock around 48.83. Will it be enough?
Racing is so close. There's hundreds in this game, and I think you'll find 4 or 5 boats will be on the same quarter of a second, never mind second.
One of the coolest shots in the world of motorsports is the onboard camera, whether it's a car, a truck, or a boat. Flagman Corky Luther says, here we go. Brian and Rhonda Smith, help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Let's see what's going to take place here as we start whittling it down and getting a little bit closer to the final 4 of who's going to make it into the finals tonight. We will find out in literally a matter of minutes. For Brian Smith, worked 15, 16 seconds, and you can see his successes so far. What a cool onboard shot that is.
The rev counter is revving. The engine, the 406 Chevrolet, is singing in the shotgun sprinter. This very, very experienced duo. They've got to get somewhere in the 47s, 48, certainly 47s to make it through. They're over the half minute, and they really put the pressure on.
As they make their mad dash to the finish line here in the Aqua Track in Richland, Washington, round number 1 of World Series Jet Sprinting. For Brian and Rhonda Smith, here we go, kids, to the finish line. Teresa Parrish in the show or not? She's going to be on the trailer.
Your times, they're very consistent, Andrew. Is there more there for you?
Oh, yes, there's a lot more. I've just got to be able to keep it in the water and not blow it, but I've got to be able to keep enough pressure on the others. I've got to have a wee bit of luck behind me, and I think everybody's got to have a bit of luck behind them as well.
Ground Zero Sprint Boat Racing World Series Jet Sprinting. Waiting for the flag to drop from Flagman Corky Luther. We're off and running. The Aqua Track in Richland, Washington. Round number 1 of World Series Jet Sprinting in the Pacific Northwest of America. Andrew Dalzales, 48.76. That'll put Jim Maxwell on the trailer. We are looking for the quickest, the 4 fastest out of this to make it into the final 4. So you can tell the track is very wide. However, very misleading because the track is made of sand. And as the day goes on, you only got 1 fast channel right dead center in the track.
Well, we see them there. This is the couple who said if we can make the top 8, we'll be happy. They're out at the moment. How far will they go in the Macraft hull from New Zealand, an agricultural contractor? He's pushing the max. 40 seconds gone in the run. They've got to absolutely push it to the max. It is high risk on the water right now. They've got to beat Jim Maxwell's time, 48.76. It's a 47.86. They're in. Maxwell is on the trailer.
It's Dean the Machine, Dean Lautenschlager with Hannah Rice doing the navigating. Dean Lautenschlager, Vice President of the United States Sprint Boat Association, and his former navigator, President Jack Bringman. They opted not to put Jack in the boat because Jack weighs almost 100 pounds more than current navigator Hannah Rice. A little navigator manipulation here to lighten up the boat just a little bit.
It's all about power to weight ratios. Dean is a big man, and she is a little girl. It's balancing out the boat. This is the Clockwork Orange, and he is winding it up to the match. He's got to go that way. He wants to be in at the sharp end of the day. Time is running out for him. 33, 34 gone.
It's going to be Adrian Kipp on the trailer if Lautenschlager keeps the pass going the way that he is. Hannah Rice navigating her driver, Dean the Machine Lautenschlager. Watch this. If she's happy, she'll pump her hand. There it is. The old Hannah arm pump to the air. So round one of the top 8 results going into the Final Four are going to be Dean Lautenschlager, Brian Smith, Andrew Dalzell, and J.R. Kent. Adrian Kipp, Jim Maxwell, Teresa Parrish, and Ty Applegate unable to make the final cut. We are back with the Final Four of round number 1 of Group A in Richland, Washington for World Series Jet Sprinting. And this is the underdog boat right now. Races the United States Sprint Boat Association as a super modified, down on horsepower, but is not down on driving at all. This is J.R. Kent in the DeWalt Power Tool Cool Tool boat. And this boat has been double teamed all year by the driver on the track right now, J.R. Kent, and Jess Prather as well. So here we go. What the Final Four? We've got J.R. Kent. Let's see what's going to happen here on the split time coming up. Russell.
Well, he's just got to push it. He's got to be in the 47s, 48 if he wants to stay in the ballpark. You can see as we come up to the split, he works his way round the track. JR 37.61 at the split. He is quicker than his previous run, but he's got to wind it up in the second half. He's got to throw down the gauntlet. He is the man who's setting the pace, setting the challenge of 48.75.
Even the locals are saying there's something about today. The water's very slippery. The boat's not sticking in it. Are you finding that?
Yes, I have noticed that. That's that sandy grit out there that's making the water very shallow. And the boats don't like that very shallow water at the speeds that we go.
Can you make some changes?
I haven't bothered with any changes because I think it's a bit late in the day and I can't afford to make a mistake now.
J.R. Kent has already made the pass. Here comes Andrew Dalzell, and he says it's too late in the day to be making any changes. That is a very true statement. Now, unlike the other racetracks that they're going to find during World Series Jet Sprinting, this track is made from mostly sand. The soil in eastern Washington is a real sandy soil, so the water becomes a little thicker because of the sand in the water, which is making the boat slide a little more on the water.
They sit that fraction higher, they get that little bit less grip, and the engine revs can drop fractionally too as they push the heavy water. But this is the Final Four. Only 2 are going to go through in the next round. Will this man be one? And we go on board with Vicky Collett directing the man, Andrew Dalzell. Round left is a big hook round. Back down the centre section.
Looking for a quicker split time for Andrew Dalzell. Take a look at the split time scoreboard. It's at 35.82. To the finish line we go with Andrew Dalzell. He's got to lay down that 48.74 or faster. And if it does, J.R. Kent's going to be out, and it will be. Not a problem. 47.06. Now the question is, are we going to have ourselves a Dean Lautenschlager, Andrew Dalzell final, or Dean Lautenschlager, Brian Smith final? For all practical purposes, J.R. Kent is now going to be out. It's a battle between the 3, which really is no big surprise with that one super modified boat that was left in the class. Avalon Motor Oil, Brian and Rhonda Smith. Uh-oh, listen, that does not sound good at all. We have got ourselves a mechanical problem with Brian Smith. It looks like Andrew Dalzell and Dean Lautenschlager.
What are you going to do now? Just do enough to win? Or are you going to still keep trying to push it to find out what the boat will do?
Well, right now we're working on the boat, trying to get it to hold in the water. I'm not going to go crazy, but I'd like to go a little faster and see how I can do.
For the 2001 racing season, this is a brand new boat. They work for 4 months until midnight, 7 days a week. Not only on the boat, but to make sure that the trailer fit right, that the paint job was right, to make sure that the racing uniforms are right. This is a complete brand new package, and they're slowly getting the bugs worked out. It is Dean Lautenschlager, Dean the Machine, behind the wheel with Hannah Rice doing the navigating, and the United States Sprint Boat Association Group A champion, as well as a couple of years of World Series jet sprinting. This is the future. The man is a character. He's got the tattoos and the body piercing, and everybody loves Dean the Machine.
Well, he's been in the 46s. He's got to beat a 48.75 to make it through the final. It'll be a big day in his career. They punch on towards the finish line. 44, 45, 46. The punch is in the air. 46.05 he's in.
And there you have it. Fourth goes to Brian Smith. J.R. Kent picks up a third. Andrew Dalzell is second so far. And Lotschlager quickest for Group A. And to bring you the play-by-play of the final two, here's Russell.
Well, here are the Kiwis. This is the biggest day so far in their 15-year sprinting career of Andrew Dalzell. He gets the green for go, and he's on his way. We go on board as they come round the left the first run. The 406 Silverhead Specialist Chevrolet on full song. Now he's going to push it to the max. He's going to be in or out. He's only going to be hero or zero. So Dalzell, he's got a bubble. He's gone. It's all over. It is trailer time. So we go into the replay, just skipping a little wide as he goes in. He drives the max, he just catches the edge of the beach, and that's the difference between in or out, silver or gold. He goes on a plate to Dean Lauenschlager. We look at again, a different angle, and just that fraction wide, gets air under the boat, crashes out, and a disappointing end to what's been a very, very good day.
Andrew, not the way you want to end the day.
No, nobody wants to finish a day like that. It's hard enough without doing that sort of thing.
What happened?
I took that corner a wee bit cheap, but I thought my line was all right, but it was that shallow sand that I was talking to earlier on that the back lifted up and it let go.
Were you just trying that hard to just really nail it, to get down there to put a time on Dean?
No, I was going to apply a bit of pressure on Dean. I slowed down to go around that corner. I was scared of that corner all day, but it was normally the next time round of that particular corner.
All right, here is the scenario of the Aqua Track in Richland, Washington for round number 1 of Group A World Series Jet Sprinting. This man has won the race today. Let's say he should happen to have problems get up on the beach. They would go back to the final 4. He was the fastest of the two boats between his pass and Andrew Dalzell. So all he's got to do is make the call, which he has done. It is Dean the Machine Lauenschlager going to pick up on the win in the first round of Group A. Now, a lot of people are going to be looking at this. It was indeed a smart move for them to remove Jack Brinkman as a navigator and put in Hannah Rice, almost a 100-pound savings. And Dean is going to be the one to be chasing for the entire 6 racers for World Series Jet Sprinting. Here in Richland, Washington, on the sand-based Aqua Track, chasing it down to the finish line. What a great shot that is, a 47.49. Dean the Machine's going to be happy about that. So there you have it. At the finish of round number 1, your winner goes Dean Lauenschlager. Andrew Dalzell picking up on second place.
At the beginning of the day, did you think this is where you'd be?
I was hoping this might be in the top 4, but I wasn't counting on a win, that's for sure, but I'll take it.
World Series Jet Sprinting in the northwest corner of America in Richland, Washington. Round number 1, race number 1 of International Group A is now complete. And your top 4 is Brian Smith, J.R. Kent, Andrew Dalzell, and picking up on the win, Dean Lauenschlager.
It's back to Auckland in 2009 to where for a lot of youngsters it all starts, karting from Rosebank Road.
This is the Kartsport Auckland Total Span City of Sales 2-day challenge, and the classes we're going to show you today are the Vehicle Construction and Maintenance Junior Yamaha, and the points leaders in 5th place it is Sean Grocock, in 4th it is Jamie Lane, car number 70, and in 3rd place it is Stan Tangaroa Green. 2nd is Levi Madsen Prin, but they're all chasing Daniel Kinsman. So far, a perfect score of the 7 heats. Watch for him with the North Island plate. He is the North Island champion, and he's been too good for this field so far.
Weekend's been pretty good. We've won all the races so far. So yeah, we've just got to try and continue our pace. Levi and Stan are pretty quick, but so far we've had a bit of edge over them, so just got to keep trying. Real happy with the engine, and you know, the kart's handling real good, so we just got to try and keep that performance going and, you know, see what we can do.
I'm sitting in third at the moment, but if I can get all more points, get more places, I should be all right, and try and keep third.
So this is the 8th and final heat for the Junior Yamaha, brought to you by Vehicle Construction and Maintenance. And watch for Daniel Kinsman, number NI, North Island. He is the North Island champion, and he's been dominant here at the Kartsport Auckland Pellet Company Raceway, and he's dominant again. Oh, is he? Oh, is he? Has he gone? What has happened to the North Island champion? It is number 5, and that is Levi Madsen-Pryn in the front. Now, what has happened? There he is at the back of the field, and he's slowing dramatically, and it's all gone terribly wrong here for Daniel Kinsman. Now, he's been dominant. He's won 7 out of 7 so far. He's not going to finish the 8th. It may still give him the championship on the points tally, but it's certainly not going to give him the 8th and final race. That is Levi Madsen-Pryn to lose at the moment. And there he is, number 5, the Hydrolink sponsored karter. In second place, it is Jamie Lane in the 70. That's the Paceworks Marinello kart. Caught up on the outside, but he's got into second place now. Then it's Stan Tangaroa Green, and the green contract is number 66 in third. So these three starting to clear out, but the real drama is the loss of Daniel Kinsman. It's going to make it hard for the family to make the double, because Matthew will be seen in another class later on, and he's been dominant as well. Just tagging on to the back of that bunch in fourth place now is Sean Grocock, number 29. The Pryn is out in the front and just starting to extend a little bit, because it looks to me that Lane's got all he can handle from Tangaroa Green. That's the battle for second and third, and while they're dicing, it means that Levi can just get away, and that's exactly what he's doing as they come down the front straight once again. These karts, all KT100, 100cc Yamaha engines, built to Kartsport New Zealand specification. All up weight, minimum weight is 133 kilograms. That's kart and driver. That's another one of the junior classes here in this ever-expanding sport. To call them go-karts is just doing it a disservice. It's kart sport now, and it's the proving ground, or the nursery, if you like, for future New Zealand motor racing champions. And we've got one out in the front at the moment. Levi Madsen-Pryn from Hamilton. Kart number 5, the Hydrolink sponsored driver, leads it. Then it is Jamie Lane in the 70, the Paceworks sponsored man. And then behind him, Stan Tangaroa Green. And you see Green just getting a little bit untidy there as they work their way past the pits here at Kartsport Auckland's Pellet Company Raceway. Pryn looks pretty comfortable, doesn't he? Just jumping off the curbs, staying out in the front. That advantage continues, but the battle is second and third. Tangaroa Green trying to move up the inside here of Lane. Lane sees it coming, shuts the door, then runs a bit wide, but so too does Green. He has a look behind. Well, I can tell him there's not too many people going to bother him behind him. He's got to watch what he's doing, and that is trying to get around young Jamie Lane. And while these two are battling, you can guarantee that Levi Madsen-Pryn is making hay while the sun shines. He's starting to get away. This is the 8th and final heat of the total span City of Sales 2-day challenge for the junior Yamahas. Here's what's happening further down through the field. Matt Hyam, number 33, starting to tack on there as well. There is the stranded form of Daniel Kinsman. It was his race to win. He'd won all the previous ones, but a mechanical issue stopped him in lap number 1. This is the race leader, number 5, Levi Madsen-Pryn out of Hamilton. But the battle, as it has been since lap number 1, is second and third. Here comes Tangaroa Green down the inside. Has he got the racing room? He has this time. If he doesn't run it wide, he'll hold on to second place. He does. Lane tucks right up underneath them and then comes back, and he's got track position as they go around the S's, the left-right combination, and right around the outside comes Jamie Lane and retakes second place. Tangaroa Green goes back into third. No change at the front. Still Levi Madsen-Pryn. Well, once again, as we see so often in kart sport, it comes down to a little bit of setup, a little bit of fettling, and driver ability. These karts are so evenly matched. All of these karts on your screen powered by KT 100 Yamaha engines, 100 cc's. There is Madsen Prynne, there is Lane, and there is Tangara Green. For a little while, Stan knew what it was like to be in second place, but he's had that taken away from him now, and it's Jamie Lane back in second. The Paceworks sponsored Maranello. The Hydrolink Carter continues to lead it though. Levi Madsen Prynne. Well, all these guys can see a career path in New Zealand motorsport these days, whether it's from karting to Formula V or making the transition straight up to the TRS. That's what awaits them. Oh, some sporting gestures there from Stan Tangara Green. Just raises his hand, realises a little bit of contact. That's not going to help either of them. These so evenly matched karts, it's all about holding momentum through the turns. That's why they're as close as they can be, because they know they can't afford to back off the throttle, can't afford to get on the brakes too soon, because the gaps will open. Tangara Green back into second spot now. Lane made a bit of a mistake. Now he's got to work, and it'll probably take him a couple of laps to get as close as he was before, but in a couple of laps this guy will have it done and dusted. Levi Madsen Prynne, 1 lap to go, the white flag out for Prynne, and look at the advantage he's got now. The reason for that is these two have been going at it like hammer and tong. Stan Tangara Green, then it is Jamie Lane. So absolutely nothing in it here for second and third. But first, well, it's a bit of a runaway. Certainly with the demise of Daniel Kinsman, it's in the hands of Levi Madsen Prynne, the Aucklander. Through the S's, and he will hit the finish straight and take the checkered flag. Who's going to get second? Will it be Tangara Green? It will be. There's nothing Jamie Lane can do about it. So Tangara Green gets second, and Jamie Lane will be third in that very close battle. In fourth place it will be Sean Grocock, and in fifth place it'll be Matt Hyam in the 33. Overall for the 2 days, even though he didn't finish the final heat, Daniel Kinsman is too good for them. He wins it from Levi Madsen Prynne. This is the Total Span City of Sales 2-day challenge, and in the senior Rotax Heavy, in fifth position on the points is Gary Chapman, kart number 31. In fourth it is Aaron Woolley, kart number 15. In third place it is Brendan Hart, kart number 69. And second on points after 7 of the 8 heats, it is Darren Aslaby from Rotorua. But leading on points going into the final heat, it is kart number 29, and that is Anthony Murch.
Just got to make sure that you stay on top of the track, you don't get gripped up, and just keep engineering your kart to where the track conditions are. It's pretty hot, so you just got to make sure that you just stay on top of what's going on with the track conditions. We've got a European Intrepid kart, which is designed for high grip, so hopefully we should get on top of that, and as the day progresses it should come to us a little bit more. So yeah, it's all going pretty well.
Brendan's probably the biggest rival today, and yeah, there's a couple of real good top guys there. What a sort of making you work for it, and the temperature of the day is sort of helping.
Well, it is hot, it is sunny, it is perfect conditions for spectating, probably perfect conditions for racing as well. As we have a look on the front row, it is the top point scorer, and that is Anthony Murch. Alongside of him, it is Darren Aslaby from Rotorua. Away they go. Good move coming up the inside from Brendan Hart in the 69 in the Intrepid. Has it been good enough to move him up into second place? They'll sort themselves out. It is Aslaby that leads it. And then it's number 15 by the look of it, Aaron Woolley in there. He's made a good move. That's him sitting up in fourth place now. In front of him, Brendan Hart. Murch sits in second. Murch is the points leader, remember. Absolutely nothing in it in the senior Rotax Heavy. Minimum weight for kart and driver, 185 kilograms. Have to be 15 years of over. They all run the 125cc Rotax engine. And doing the best job at the moment is kart number 78, and that's Darren Aslaby from Rotorua. Here comes the challenge though from Murch. And already these front two starting to get away. Brendan Hart just slowing down the progress of Aaron Woolley. So Woolley decides to go down the inside, so he moves through into third. Going with him then was Gary Cullum, number 96, I beg your pardon. So he's up into fifth now. As we go back to the front, past the lap scorer's position, Asleby leads it, gets a little bit sideways coming out and into the 180-degree turn now, but there's nothing Merch can do about it. Looking for racing room on the inside. They get very, very close, but they don't touch, and that's the secret to kart sport racing. It is so close at the front. Once again, these classes so evenly matched. Comes down to driver ability, and there's plenty of driver ability out there at the moment. Asleby from Rotorua, Merch from Auckland. And back into third place now. I think you'll find it's Brendan Hart it is, and 69 moves back into third, so 15 Woolley back into fourth. Now you've heard the name Hart before. Brendan is Joshua Hart's younger brother. Joshua racing up in Europe in karting up there, flying the New Zealand flag, doing a fantastic job. Of course, he's raced in Formula First in New Zealand and also the TRS series, so obviously that's the career path that young Brendan would like to take as well.
Talk to me.
Asleby continues to lead. Merch pushing hard, but just can't find a chink in the armour at the moment. The Strata Clean kart got to be content for second. This race brought to you by Marshall Batteries and Taylor Auto Electrical. It's the 8th and final heat of this 2-day challenge. It's the Total Span City of Sales 2-day challenge, and this is one of the classes that's got the spectators excited. And you can see the reason why. Asleby and Merch going at it like there's absolutely no tomorrow. While they're battling, it should bring the field back to them, but it hasn't worked out that way. Heading down past the lap scorer's position once again. Merch content to just sit in the draft here. Now he's going to try and pull back and see if he can make a move on the 180-degree sweeper. There is Hart, there is Woolley. Also making a move is the 96 there of Cullum. It's only going to take a small mistake, and maybe there's the mistake there, because down the inside comes Anthony Merch. But oh, look at that, Asleby shuts the door on him. Well, Merch probably thought all his Sundays had come at once. He thought he'd done all he had to do to get around him, but Asleby was too good. This time he tries to dive down the inside. This time he'll make the pass stick. Oh, he runs wide, and Asleby gets it back again. Well, how many times can this happen in a lap? Anthony Merch is trying absolutely everything to get around Darren Asleby, and he just can't find a way. He gets to the front, and then he is denied. The Strata Clean kart of Anthony Merch. He's the points leader, remember, going in. So he's probably thinking about that in the back of his mind as well, but he'd love to get one up here on Darren Asleby from Rotorua, and he can't do it at the moment. And the laps are winding down. 69, Hart trying to repel the challenges there from Aaron Woolley, and doing so at the moment as we go back to the front of the field. Asleby continues to lead. Here comes the challenge down the inside from Merch again. Asleby sees it coming, but this time he can't do anything about it. Have we got a new race leader? He gets track position through the S's, and it's Anthony Merch that goes into the front as they head down into the valley once again. Merch leads it. Here comes the challenge from Asleby. He's got the little bit of a run. Oh, and he gets out of it. Why did he get out of it? I thought he had track position. I thought he could have got the pass. He obviously didn't think it was doable. He got on the brakes, and that allows Merch to live again. Through the S's they come. Now this time the pack is getting a little bit closer. Third place, still the 69 of Brendan Hart. Aaron Woolley is in there as well. So too the 96 of Gary Cullum as we concentrate on this enthralling battle at the front of the field. Has Asleby got anything left? The laps are running down. Now Merch is driving defensively. Just taking a good wide line into that corner, just thwarting Asleby as much as possible. But you see Asleby there going for the outside-inside cut, doesn't come off. Merch using all the curbs on these little 125cc Rotax powered karts. That's the Rotax Heavy. Minimum weight all up for kart and driver is 185 kilograms. Here's the battle for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth, and there's absolutely nothing in it. You can throw a blanket over them. 69 continues to have the battle for third. One at the moment, that's Brendan Hart. Merch continues to lead at the front. Has the fight gone out of Rotorua's Darren Asleby. Asleby gets a little bit closer. Just can't quite make it stick, and now he's got to do something drastic because we're on the last lap. Well, the tables have turned. We saw Aisleby before driving defensively to keep Murch out. Now it's the other way round. Aisleby once again going for the outside inside cut. He goes to the apex of the turn, trying to keep the speed up, trying to get as close as he can. Maybe pressurising Murch into a mistake. Half a lap to go here. Points leader is Anthony Murch. The Strata Clean kart. Is he going to win Heat 8, the 8th and final heat of the Total Span 2-day challenge? He is. He's happy about it. Punches the air and gets the win. The 29 of Anthony Murch takes it from Darren Aisleby of Rotorua. Sportsmanship comes to the fore again as the two protagonists shake hands. In third place it will be Brendan Hart from the Manawatu, and in fourth it will be Aaron Woolley. Overall, Anthony Murch takes the Total Span City of Sales 2-day challenge from Darren Aisleby and Brendan Hart. This is the 8th and final heat for the Wright Karts sponsored Senior Rotax Light class, and in 5th points going in is Michael Wheaton from Auckland on 29. He's in kart 67. Kart number 76, Scott Reddish, making the move up to senior competition, is 4th on 23 points. Matthew Griffin, the North Island champion, running under the North Island number plate, is 3rd on 20 points. Ryan Urban from Hamilton is 2nd on 15 points, and the leader in the Rotax Light is Kane Taylor on 6 points, kart number 15. One heat to go of 8 that makes up the Total Span City of Sales 2-day challenge, and the man to watch out for is Kane Taylor.
Rotax Lights has obviously got a Rotax 125 motor on it, and Open has like a 6-speed gearbox motor. Came out practice on Friday, got the kart set up very well, and put a good motor on yesterday. And the kart's going really well. Got 4 first yesterday out of 4 races, so hopefully we can carry it on, but it's been great.
Last year we ran the Max Challenge series that's run by Wright Karts and Rotax Light, and managed to take the win in that, which granted me a trip to Italy in the World Champs. So I ran in Italy in the DD2 class over there, and he had a really successful weekend. Rotax would be Kane Taylor for sure. He's the man to beat around Auckland. Also Matt Griffin, a couple of new guys into the class. You've got Mr. Reddish and a few other ones that are really coming on. In the Rotax class I've had a 4th and 3 seconds, so hopefully we can improve on that as well.
I've been racing a Rotax since I was 13, which is probably about 3 years, and I'm current North Island champ. And this is the City of Sales meeting, and I'm hoping to do really well. An unfortunate accident happened at Death Valley where I was on grid 2 and someone from rear field came in and crashed into the back of me and bent my chassis and stuff like that, so that's racing, I suppose. We've managed to straighten it out and get all the bits repaired that we needed, and it's back on the track again, so hopefully I can do good in the next races.
So it is the points leaders, Kane Taylor in the 15, Ryan Urban in the 90 on the front row as they get set for this, the 8th and final heat for the Senior Rotax Light. Away they go, and once again, as predicted, it is the number 15 that shoots into an early lead, and that is Kane Taylor, the Marshall Batteries Taylor Auto Electrical sponsored runner in the Maranello kart. Well, he's been dominant. Well, there's some problems there for the 55, and that's Warren Paris from Auckland. So he hasn't had the race that he hoped for, and already the two of them are out in battle, and Ryan Urban is right there, but it is Taylor out in the front. Urban through in 2nd place. Ethan de Jong from Tokoroa is in there as well. But it is the 15, and he's been dominant. He had one mechanical issue, that was yesterday, and he's won every other heat he started in. That's why he is the points leader here in the Total Span City of Sales 2-day challenge. Ryan Urban sits in 2nd place, and it's Ethan de Jong, so a good result coming for the young lad from Tokoroa. Both Urban and de Jong represented New Zealand at the Rotax Max Challenge World Final in Italy later last year. In fact, it was in October, November. So these guys now see a direct career path. So many karters have gone on to do amazing things in New Zealand motor racing, and these guys looking to do the same. And some karters coming back from top-level motor racing in New Zealand back into the karts for an opportunity to get out and do a little bit of travelling. There is number 94, Ethan de Jong. He sits up in 3rd place. Ryan Urban is 2nd. They're all trying to chase number 15, Kane Taylor, though. And at the moment, they just can't do it. Look at the way they jump off the curbs. Down the front straight they come. Matthew Griffin looking to get just a little bit closer now to Ethan de Jong. So plenty of opportunities for these young men to get a lot of racing experience, a lot of overseas racing experience. Certainly in Australia, just across the Tasman, and as I mentioned before, later last year up in Italy for the Rotax Max Challenge World Finals in Italy. Kane Taylor wasn't there, but Ryan Urban was. Urban sits in second place, and the man behind him, Ethan de Jong, was right there as well. He's in third. Then it is the North Island champion, and that is Matthew Griffin, the Auckland Hydraulic Supply sponsored kart. And the four of them starting to get away just a little bit. Scott Reddish, as we said, moving up into the senior ranks. Standout career as a junior. He's back in fifth place now. And in sixth, it's Michael Wheaton in the 67. But as we mentioned, the sixth place man, the first place man just starts to get away. Good little scrap developing here for second, third and fourth. Ryan Urban leading it. Ethan de Jong and Matthew Griffin. Griffin had that accident. You heard him say in his interview they've rebuilt the kart as best as possible, but he's out there and competing well. Urban, second place, just hasn't got an answer to Taylor for the moment. In fact, he's probably finished second to him more times than he cares to remember over the two-day weekend for the Total Span City of Sales two-day challenge. And Taylor had problems with a coil lead. That's the only thing that stopped his overall dominance. And you can see why. Is playing with the rest of this field. Urban's got all he can handle from Ethan de Jong and also Matthew Griffin. It's an interesting format, this Total Span City of Sales two-day challenge. 8 full heats of racing. Lowest point scorer is the winner. Of course, you get 1 point for first, right down through the field. You'd have to say that Kane Taylor on his way to another 1 point here. Matthew Griffin just getting a little bit closer now to de Jong. That's the battle for third and fourth. And if anything, Kane Taylor starting to come back to Ryan Urban. The Right Karts R&R Power Sports sponsored driver sits in second place. Taylor, well, he's only got to be smooth and just not make a mistake, and he's just got the advantage he needs at the moment to take this out. And had it not been for a mechanical issue on day one, it would have been a clean sweep for the man from Auckland, the Marshall Batteries Taylor Auto Electrical sponsored driver. I mentioned that Rotax Max final last year. 216 drivers competed in that from 55 different countries. It was in La Conca in Italy. As I mentioned, Ryan Urban and Ethan de Jong were representing New Zealand in that. And they're running second and third in this, the 8th and final heat of the 125cc Rotax Senior Light. All the karts, 125 water-cooled, electric start, engines. So once again, it comes down to a bit of setup, a bit of engineering ability and a whole lot of driver ability. And these guys have got that in spades. Look for them to be in the Formula first, the Formula Fords, and then later on the TRS series in the coming years, because this is the breeding ground for top-level motorsport. You can reel off the names: Richie Stanaway, James McNee of the current crop, all started in karts. Scott Dixon, way back when, started in karts. Now the Indy 500 champion and IRL Series champion. White flag out. Kane Taylor, completely dominant in this, as we saw Dylan Drysdale in the cadets. So he's made easy work of the 680 metre track here at the Pellet Company Raceway, the home of Kart Sport Auckland, the club that brings you the Total Span City of Sales two-day challenge. The Maranello kart of Kane Taylor is going to take the win. In second place it will be Ryan Urban. Oh, and there's a big lock up there as they come under braking. Ethan de Jong tries everything he can to get better than third, but it's not going to be. And in fourth place it will be Matthew Griffin. So there is the official results for the 8th and final heat. Kane Taylor does it easily from Urban, Ethan de Jong, Griffin and Scott Reddish. Overall though, it is Kane Taylor surprising no one, from a virtual clean sweep from Ryan Urban, Matthew Griffin, Scott Reddish and Ethan de Jong in fifth.
The car was, great kart. Just set it up to come on sort of at the end of the race, and managed to make a gap on Urban and all the rest of the boys at the start of the race, and basically from there just kept it going and just kept it straight, and it was good, very good.
Well, this is the Total Span City Sales 2-Day Challenge, and this is the Senior 100cc Yamaha Light class. And in 4th place in the points, it is number 48, and that's Matthew Buffton. 3rd place is number 37, Alex Geary. There he is in the inside shot there in the red card, and chasing him hard in 2nd place, number 23. And that is Dion Forrest. But the man they're all trying to keep in sight is the North Island champion, and that is Matthew Kinsman.
I think I'm leading in the points by a little bit, so yeah, can't complain at this point in time. There's a couple of quick guys like John Van Bommel and Dion Forrest have been very quick yesterday. Just be consistent throughout the day and don't make as little driving mistakes as possible.
Well, they grid up for the 8th and final heat of the Yamaha Lights, and the man to watch for on pole position, that is Matthew Kinsman from Auckland, the Ideal Electrical Kinsman Electrical sponsored kart. They've got 2 firm lines as they race down into turn 1. Kinsman's got track position, he'll lead them through. Oh, a good move trying to get up the inside there was number 37, that's Alex Geary. Not too sure if that worked for him though. Now he slots back into 3rd place, 62 in there as well, and that's John Van Bommel. Well, he is just out of the top 5 in the points, so watch for him. You heard Kinsman mention that he was one to look for, and it's number 23 that's inherited the lead, and that is Dion Forrest. Now he's 2nd in the points, but Kinsman won't be too worried. He's got quite an advantage. He's had a pretty successful 2 days here for the Total Span City of Sales 2-Day Challenge, coming to you from the Pallet Company Raceway, Rosebank Domain in Auckland. Beautiful sunny conditions, but it's a bit of a surprise that it's Dion Forrest, the Speed Scan right karts runner, out in the front. Kinsman through in 2nd place. Then we go back to number 48 now, and that's Matthew Buffton. And behind him, 37, and that's Geary. And then number 62 there, John Van Bommel from the Bay of Plenty. Well, Kinsman carrying on the family tradition. He won this event last year. His younger brother, Daniel, has won the junior competition, and he won it last year as well. Here's the challenge down the inside as they complete another lap here at the Pallet Company Raceway, and it is Kinsman that goes into the front now. 23's got to slip back into 2nd place. Well, he had his moment in the sun to Dion Forrest, but he's back in 2nd now, and he's glued to the back bumper of Matthew Kinsman, the 17-year-old. The whole family involved in karting. 48 through in 3rd place, that's Matthew Buffton. He's 4th in the points. Remember, it is 8 heats, the Total Span City of Sales 2-Day Challenge, and you can drop your worst performance. Big move coming from Buffton, but he thinks twice about it and pulls back in before number 37, Geary, can shut the door on him. So that was a brave attempt. It didn't quite come off for the 48 there of Matthew Buffton, the 50-50 traffic management sponsored karter. There he is, sitting in 3rd place. Geary in behind him. Then it's number 62, John Van Bommel. So these 5s just starting to get away a little bit, and also starting to get away through the S's and heading down towards the lap scorers once again is Matthew Kinsman. Well, he had a great performance in the Tauranga Street Race. He is the North Island champion, the current North Island champion. And he's just starting to put a bit of daylight between himself and number 48, Matthew Buffton, who's got in front of the 23 now. So Forrest goes back into 3rd. Then it's Geary. And then it would be 62, Von Bommel. And they've got a little bit of a gap on the rest of the field. Down past the lap scorers they come once again, probably 4 kart lengths in it between 1st and 2nd, or a little bit late on the brakes there for Buffton, but doesn't mean that 23 can capitalise. So Dion Forrest still sits in 3rd, Geary right in behind him. While these guys are dicing, it's allowed Kinsman to get away. Oh, the 23 and the 37, a bit of contact there, and a little bit more. Well, they say rubbing's racing, and Alex Geary wants to get on with it, the man from Taranaki, and trying to stop him is number 23, and that's Dion Forrest from Auckland. And as I mentioned, while they're doing that, Kinsman's getting away. 48, Matthew Buffton sits comfortably in 2nd place now. And look at this freight train for 3rd. The 23, Dion Forrest, right in behind him, Geary. Then it's 62, and that is Von Bommel. Von Bommel just tagging onto the back of this bunch. Geary up in front of Forrest now. And just taking a bit of the curb, and that just slows his progress down. These karts all powered by 100cc Yamaha engines built to kart sport specifications. So once again, it comes down to a little bit of setup, a little bit of fine fettling and driver ability. And Kinsman, well, he's the driver showing all the ability at the moment because he is out in the front. 48, Matthew Buffton sits fairly comfortably in second place, and all the action behind him, 23, 37 and 62. You could throw a blanket over these three and you get the feeling they'll be like that right until the checkered flag falls. Under the rules of the two-day challenge, you can drop your worst performance, and that's going to be nothing but good news for Matthew Kinsman. I don't think he's ever finished lower than 4th in all of the 7 heats so far. This is the 8th and final heat, and Kinsman once again in command. Well, they say the family that plays together stays together, and the whole family involved in kart sport. Dad races, Matthew races, his younger brother races, and races at the top of the tree. Both of them champions in their own right. This guy running the North Island insignia means he is the North Island champion in this, the Yamaha light class for drivers 15 years and older. All up weight driver in kart, 143 kilograms. Looks like number 48's come back to the pack. Matthew Buffton getting swallowed up by the threesome there of Forrest, Geary and the 62 of Von Bommel. And 23, Forrest it is, leading the charge. That's the battle for second and third. So we go back to the front runner. Down the front straight he comes once again, past the lap scorers. Laps winding down here at the City of Sales two-day challenge, brought to you by Total Span. And look at the racing here. 48 knows he's in a contest now. Matthew Buffton right in behind him. It's the 23 of Dion Forrest. Forrest was second in the points. Buffton was back in 4th, so there might not be too much change there, but this is about pride. And they've put a little bit of gap between themselves and Geary and John Van Bommel. And that gap continues to grow with Matthew Kinsman. White flag, 1 to go for Kinsman to make it a family double here. His younger brother Daniel won the junior competition, the Formula Juniors. Now Matthew is going to take the Kendall Performance sponsored Yamaha light class, the senior Yamaha lights. Nothing's going to stop him doing it. He's going to win it, and win it fairly easily. He's done it here at the Pellet Company Raceway, home of Auckland Kart Sport. And home of the winners, and has been for the best part of 50 years. Kart Sport's been inception, and it is Matthew Kinsman that will see the checkered flag first. The Ideal Electrical Kinsman Electrical sponsored runner wins the 100cc Yamaha light class. In second place it will be number 48, and that will be Matthew Buffton. In third place it'll be Dion Forrest, and in 4th Alex Geary. 5th place will be John Van Bommel. But overall for the Total Span City of Sales two-day challenge, Matthew Kinsman is the champion once again. He repeats the same dose as last year. Dion Forrest is second, Matthew Buffton is third.
Thanks to Hannah and Gordon from Legwork for the karts, and the Telesport crew for the jet sprinting in the good old USA.
As we're back on board with the circuit here at Pyra. Here's the race leaders. Oh, and there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come.